Welcome. It's Facts You Don't Know. If it's your first time here and you want to find out new facts that will definitely make you smarter and more, well, and first make sure to subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss anything.
April Neubauer planned on breastfeeding her newborn daughter immediately after giving birth. However, when she was unable to, nurses suggested her husband take over and use supplemental nursing system to breastfeed their baby. Maximilian Neubauer, a new dad from Wisconsin, shared a post with photographs of himself feeding his newborn daughter with a makeshift supplemental nursing system. The Bump reported. In the post, Neubauer explains that his wife, April, was unable to breastfeed their baby immediately after the delivery due to complications with her C-section. Like most birth stories, Rosalie Lupita Valentina Neubauer didn't come into this world exactly as her mom and dad had planned. Instead, April Neubauer was diagnosed with preeclampsia, and with her blood pressure dangerously high, doctors broke her water to induce labor as things took a serious turn. However, April and her husband Maximilian knew that no matter what, breastfeeding and immediate skin-to-skin were two aspects of their birth plan that they didn't want to compromise. Luckily, they didn't have to, thanks to a very creative nurse and an equally eager dad. After having 2 seizures, April was rushed in for an emergency C-section. April had her second seizure during the procedure, which meant that Max had to wait outside until after Rosalia was born. When he was finally able to meet her, Mom was still being stabilized. So if they wanted to meet their early skin-to-skin and breastfeeding goals, it was all up to Dad. The nurse asked if maybe I would like to throw a nipple on and do some real breastfeeding, he tells Cafe Mom. A nurse made Max an offer he couldn't refuse. As he was doing skin-to-skin with his baby girl, the opportunity to be the first one to breastfeed her. Me being a big joker and the ability to try just about anything once, I said, sure, why not, he says. The nursing staff were giggling and jumping with joy. They planned to feed Rosalia with a bit of formula until Mom was well enough to nurse, and instead of a finger feeding it, they got creative. April didn't find out that her husband was the first to breastfeed their baby until after, and appreciates how Max and her nurse stepped in. After my procedure, I was out for hours. It was very important for us to breastfeed her, and my doctors and nurses knew how important this was to us, she says. So our nurse came up with a plan for my husband to breastfeed her for the first time until I was up and alert. It was definitely something unexpected, but he would never do anything he would feel I wasn't comfortable with. Since I was unable to right away due to some health issues, I'm glad my husband was able to step in. Max got a nipple shield, syringe, tube, and hit the ground running, like a breastfeeding champ. The syringe filled with formula was attached to a nipple shield placed on Max's chest. This simulated breastfeeding for his newborn. Our nurse helped a lot. I mean, I've never breastfed or even thought in 1,000 years I would, he said. Just then, his mother-in-law walked in with her father. When Max's mother-in-law walked in with her father, they didn't realize what they were in for, and her reaction was priceless. Only you, Maxie. I didn't believe the nurses. My God, only you. Shaking her head, he recalls her saying, Great-grandpa didn't have anything to say. Very old-school guy. Just kind of looked at me funny. He came around in the end. April thought she couldn't get pregnant because she suffers from polycystic ovarian syndrome, PCOS, a hormonal disorder that causes infrequent menstrual periods. Although the dad doesn't plan on continuing to breastfeed his daughter using the system, he has come up with an idea of what to call it. Using a portmanteau of man and boob, he told WBAY-TV that it should be dubbed Going with the Moob. And Maximilian isn't the only dad willing to breastfeed his daughter. Anthony Favors, a 31-year-old chef from Buffalo, New York, created a similar hack that allows him to breastfeed his fussy baby daughter, Liliana, while her mother, Shalonda, is at work. Liliana happily nurses, but refuses to bottle feed. So her dad cut a small hole in his shirt and poked the nipple of the bottle filled with his wife's breast milk through the gap to create a functional boob. The dad said his daughter loved it, adding that the experience has made me feel so much closer to my baby girl. Some users interacted with the story via social network. Due to complications during April's emergency C-section, this super rad nurse made an epically killer offer, and I was fortunate enough to slap on a suction cup fake nipple, being the first to breastfeed the baby. I did it for the moms. Eat your heart out. His wife shared, I have the most amazing husband ever. Unfortunately, I had 2 seizures and had to do an emergency C-section. So I was completely out of it when Rosalia was born and didn't get to do the immediate skin-on-skin like I had planned. But leave it up to Daddy to step in. He's been absolutely awesome and amazing. Since I wasn't able to breastfeed right away due to recovering from my seizures and C-section, Poppy was given the opportunity to breastfeed himself. Nurses hooked him up with a suction cup nipple, and there she went. I'm so thankful for my husband, and couldn't have picked a better man to start this wonderful family with. Thanks for watching. Please like and share the video in social networks. We'll be right back to you as fast as we can.